guys, today we're going to go ahead and make that cute little shaker card. Isn't that just so neat? I love the sand in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Seaside Shore Stamp Set through Stampin' Up, and that is in the annual catalog. So we're going to go ahead and use this and a bunch of other things, but for right now what we're going to need is the layering oval framelit dies. You're going to use the two largest of the dies for this project, and we're going to take a piece of Whisper White. Actually it's A2 card base here, so A2 is 5.5 by 4 1/4, and we're just going to fold that and we're going to do our stamping on here. And then you're also going to need another piece of Whisper White cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and a piece of By the Shore Designer Series paper, and this again is cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4. And also you're going to want a piece of, or need a piece of, window sheets. So this I got through Stampin' Up, so you can get these through Stampin' Up. There's two 12 by 12 sheets. So we're going to need this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your card base and kind of just set that aside for right now. And we're going to take our Designer Series paper and our piece of white Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to use some removable adhesive, just a couple of little spots in the corner to kind of anchor it down. And we're just going to kind of put this on top of your Whisper White, line it up so it's all even. And then we're going to take the smaller of the two layering ovals, and we're going to cut that out. I'm going to cut it out towards the top, kind of in the middle towards the top. So you're just going to need your die cutting machine, your Big Shot, or any die cutting machine that you have. If you don't have a Big Shot, I recommend it. I had another die cutting machine for many years and it worked well, but man, this Big Shot works so much better. So we're just going to go ahead and put that on your Big Shot, and like I said, in the center, more towards the top of your card, and we're just going to cut that right out. So you should get a your sheet just like this. And then while we're here with the Big Shot, we're going to take our piece of window sheet and we're going to cut the largest framelit oval out of your acetate paper here. So you'll get your piece here, and it'll be larger than your opening on the paper we just cut out. So we're going to take these two pieces apart. That's why we use the removable adhesive on here, so we can pull these apart. And we're going to glue your piece of acetate or your window sheet in between these two. So I like to use a strong glue. So I'm using the Tombow Mono liquid glue. I'm just going to use the small end here and just go around the whole outside of your white cardstock. We're going to just use some snail adhesive, and we're just going to put that right on the top here. I'm just going to line that right up and cover the top. Just like so. So this here will create your window right here. So once you have this, what you're going to do is kind of put it on the top here and just see where it lies on your card base. And then we're going to do some stamping. I just kind of eyeballed it as to where I want to put my stuff. So I'm using the seaweed and I'm going to stamp that out in mint macaron, which this color is retiring. The 2015 through the 2017 color is retiring. So if you don't have these colors, or if you really like them, you probably want to get your refills and you want to get them in right now. They are going on low inventory right now, so I would recommend getting your orders in now if you really truly like these guys. So we're just going to I'm just going to stamp one down and see where it falls in my window. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit lower, I think, because I also want to stamp in a fish back here. So I'm just going to go ahead. You can see it kind of almost takes up the whole thing. So this one here, I'm just going to do a little bit lower. And again, I'll just line this up and see where it sets. Okay. Perfect. So you've got your seaweed coming out of the bottom here. And then we're going to go ahead and take the fish, I think, and we're going to stamp that in next. So you can use any of the fish, whichever one you want. I think I'm going to go with this little guy here. I'm going to stamp this one in Watermelon Wonder. This is another color that's going to be gone. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this up again just to see where I want to put my fish. So I think I'm going to put my fish right here. And then you'll see it's going to be fit perfectly in that window. So the next step I did was I colored in the seaweed, and I'm just using some Pear Pizzazz, I think I'm going to use. Yeah, I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz on this. So I'm just going to color in the areas that are showing through. Okay guys, so this next step is kind of neat. I'm going to put some shading of Pool Party in, so it looks like there's water background in there. And I'm using one of the sponge daubers. You get 5 of these for $5, and I just purchased some recently and I'm loving using them. You have a lot of control with them, so I really like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this, and I'm just going to go over the seaweed. And just be careful around the fish. So once you get close to the fish, what I did was I just took the oval that I had and kind of covered up portions of the fish and just kind of went over it like so. I also have a little piece of scrap paper so I can get the corner here. So it's kind of a little bit of a pain, but it's worth it, you know, in the end here. So you just work your way around your fish, however you want to do it. You could even cut out a fish and put it over the top if you wanted to. I didn't want to cut out anything. I think that fish is pretty good there. Just double check here. Yep, I like that. So then I'm going to take the bubbles out of the stamp set there, and we're going to stamp bubbles all along here. And I'm going to use Dapper Denim for the bubbles. I think that shows up nicely. So you just put them wherever you want to put them. So I think that that looks nice. Perfect. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to put some foam around here. So you're going to need some foam adhesive strips, which are these right here. And you can get these through Stampin' Up. And we're going to use these to put foam all the way around the window here. And some of these strips I've cut, so I'll just piece it together. I'll try to use, what I'll do is I'll use longer strips if possible here. So when you put this foam on here, you want to get it as close to the window opening as possible. And then what this foam will do is it'll lift up your window frame here, and it also will seal up the edges so none of your sand goes beyond the window. I'll just turn it around and see. So you can see a little bit of the foam. So you might want to go in a little bit. Just a little bit off to the white a little bit more. And make sure that when you're putting on a new piece, make sure your ends butt together really tightly. And then when I get to the end here, I'll just trim it with some scissors. And again, you want to make sure that they butt up nicely, or else you're going to have your sand going everywhere. So I'm just going to put another piece right there, just so that it kind of closes off that gap. So your foam seal, once you get it down, just make sure you press it down really, really well so that it does not create any spaces in there. So it should look like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the foam strips. We're going to put them all on the sides here. So it doesn't have to look fancy back there because nobody's going to see that anyways. Okay guys, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sand, which this sand came from the craft store. I bought it a long time ago when I was making some ornaments with it. And you only need a little tiny bit of this sand. So I'm just going to kind of pour just a little bit on the fish here. I would say that's probably good right there. And then I'm also going to use some of our embellishments. They are from the Sprinkles embellishment. They're in the Occasions catalog. They're with the Cool Treat stuff. And I'm just going to use a few of these. you can if you want to. I'm not going to, but you can take a couple of these and glue them down so that they don't move. That's up to you. I'm just going to sprinkle a couple in here just to kind of make it look like it's maybe beach stone in there. Like I said, you can glue a couple pieces so when the card isn't, when it's standing upright, you'll see a couple of the pieces out of the way. So I'm just going to make sure that all of my sand is away from the edges where it's going to stick, where my foam's going to stick. Because if you get any piece underneath that foam, it's going to stick there and then others may follow. So once you have your pile, we're going to take our foam strips and we're going to take the backing off of the foam strips here. And then we're going to line it up like so on the front of your card. And we're going to anchor it down. So it'll look like that. Isn't that cute? So it looks like sand on the bottom. So that's the shaker portion of your card. Now you can decorate the front however you want. I'm going to take my 2 dies here and I'm going to cut a frame out to kind of go over the top here. And I'm going to cut it out, I think, in Dapper Denim. So I just want to show you guys, all I did was took my 2 largest ovals and I kind of just put them together on a sheet of Dapper Denim, and I'm just going to run them through the Big Shot. And then this will give a nice frame to your window. So you'll get this little frame here, and then we're just gonna glue that along the front of the card. I'll use the Tombow glue or maybe my glue tip pen to glue that on there. So guys, I went ahead and I stamped out the angelfish in mint macaroon, and then the other fish here I stamped that out in delightful Dijon. And I fussy cut them out, which I don't like doing, but I did it, and then I popped them up on the front there. And then I stamped out Hoping Your Day Goes Swimmingly in Dapper Denim, and I cut it out of the circle dies, or the circle framelits, and then I just did this scalloped circle framelit there out of Dapper Denim, and then I kind of just stamped the anchor here. So that's the card. That's my little card here. Pretty easy, pretty simple little shaker card. So I hope you enjoyed.